Yo, of course, we start with the Rocky theme song to boost our energy and motivation for the podcast. The story of Rocky Balboa inspires us to persevere through our own struggles, much like the down-and-out athlete he was. He doubted everything, his worthiness and abilities, and he came through with complete transformation with his self-doubt and self-discrimination to ultimately dedicate himself to proper coaching, rigorous training, and ultimately becoming the true champion that he is and he was, and you are too. Boom. And trust me, we're all mental fitness athletes. You might not know it, but you are, and we're here to emphasize that. Just like any physical fitness, you're either active or you're inactive. Through the Free Zone podcast, we will guide you to become an active mental fitness athlete and realize your potential to be a true champion. By living with personal freedom, you can achieve peaceful success in every area of your life. I'm talking about mental, emotional, and physical. You're a true champion, trust me, and so am I. I'm living proof. Replacing suppressive societal inaccuracies with ancient truths. Bam! Whoa, again, that's a mouthful. Replacing suppressive, inaccurate, society? Limiting disabilities. I mean, with ancient truths. Really, what do we mean? We mean that, like, we grow up, pretty much everyone grows up thinking that, we don't matter unless we achieve something, right? That we're not equal, that we're basically competing against one another. And the truth is, the ancient truth is, that's not true. The ancient truth is we all were born and we all matter equally. If we're all human beings and we were all born, we were conceived and born, we got here the same exact way. We all are human beings. We all have the exact same mechanics, the exact same insides. How could we not be equal? That's the Free Zone philosophy as a mental fitness athlete that we want you to know first and foremost before we get into the podcast every time. Boom. The Free Zone practice plan, running mental plays through our minds, thinking new thoughts, setting new mental patterns, fighting off doubt, insecurity, being a trouble to yourself and others, societal competition, yuck, and anxiety. Life is one big scrimmage game. Get out there and practice. You gotta practice. If anyone was ever good at anything, they got that way because they practiced. Boom. Exactly. So what? You get information and then you gotta practice it. Because if you don't practice the information, you never use it, access it, and here's what we really want. We want to get good at it. So we want to get good at being a mental fitness athlete, practicing the mental fitness plays, running through decisions and thoughts in our minds. So we get good at it. We want them to be very flowing and steady and consistent. And that's why we practice. So we practice I matter. We practice everyone matters. We practice I'm equal. Their mantras, their statements, their declarations. So you matter because you were born and you're equal to everyone. Period. End. I don't care what you thought before or what anyone ever told you before. The truth is you matter and you're equal. So we have to practice these. So as a mental fitness Free Zone athlete, you practice I matter, I'm equal because I was born. Bam. Ponder this. Food for thought. Things that make you go, This is where we're going to run new plays through our minds with new philosophies and new ancient truths. Things that make you go, That's right. First, before we go on, I want to introduce my compadres. I completely forgot, of course. First, Mark, how are you?
Mark, what's going on, Scott?
Yo.
Happy Friday. It's not even Friday. Happy Thursday. Every day.
That's right.
Free Zone.
And how about you, Andres?
Very happy to be here. Very excited.
Yeah. We're doing our thing for you guys and for us. Because, here's the thing. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, must be good for the gander. We're not talking the talk. without walking the walk. We walk the walk, and that's why we talk the talk. So this segment is about new ideas and new mental fitness plays to run through your mind. Things that make you go, We want you to think about like your own life, like a personal assessment based on a topic we bring up every podcast. And the topic that we're bringing up on this podcast is that, among other things, many things, we're not taught right. We're taught incomplete and inaccurate. And the topics we want to bring up are loneliness, anger, resentment. These are all things ultimately that I believe that we're taught wrong. We're taught wrong because we just get spinning out of control with a resentment. We get spinning out of control with anger. We get spinning out of control with loneliness. And in my belief, what I think the truth is that when you're lonely, it's your soul or your essence or your mind or your life saying to yourself, love yourself more. Don't get stuck in where you're at. Pick yourself up, pump yourself up, tell yourself that you matter and that you're equal and that you want to give yourself more love. If something doesn't go your way, rejection, or you don't have plans when you wanted to and you're feeling lonely, it's because you're supposed to give yourself some extra TLC. So loneliness, the indicator to loneliness is, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. And I'm saying, no, that's not it. It's saying to yourself, yo, care for yourself more. Give yourself some extra love. Give yourself some extra respect. Respect being hold yourself in high regard. Don't fall into the old BS about what loneliness actually means. It means to love yourself more, an invitation, an outstretched hand. It's saying, hey, I'm here. That's you to you. Give me some more love. What do you guys think?
I feel like a lot of time with loneliness, like resentment and bitterness is like just a way to justify it. And oftentimes, like if it starts with building meaningful relationships, and you can be lonely and with people, and that's when you're not acting in your, if not acting in the free zone, if put it best. But ultimately, that's where it starts, building that meaningful relationship with yourself, and then setting that as the foundations to, pursue those meaningful relationships with others.
You don't have to be alone to be lonely.
Exactly. And the truth is, it's not like sometimes we're not giving ourselves enough love or respect, and that's totally cool. But what's not cool is to recognize that that's what's happening, intercept it, and redirect it with a new decision and a new thought, like a free zone athlete, by just saying to yourself, like, this is so silly. Like, these really are just one statement answers. Like, I love myself. Like, pump yourself up with some tenderness and some care. It really just means you're not lonely. Like, say I'm not lonely. I'm just like not getting my way right now, or things are just in a little bit of a lull. It doesn't mean that you need to compound it. So you intercept it, you redirect it by reminding yourself that you're fully loved, that you love yourself, that you respect yourself, and that loneliness is an invitation to give yourself more nurturing. Just like resentment. Like resentment for me, resentment can be like toxic, right? Somebody did something that wasn't cool and you resent it. Well, how about this? Maybe everybody's not perfect. Maybe just like you, nobody does the right thing all the time, especially with heated moments when, ambitions or interests or, personal aspects of a person is, in play. They don't do the right thing all the time, so they make bad moves, and that creates a resentment. So when the resentment comes, we just like spew on it. My thing is, when a resentment comes, the real truth about resentment is it's an invitation, an indicator, an outstretched palm, if you will, to be compassionate and understanding. So when you're resenting something, The free zone play is not to like go with the fucking anger and with the resentment. The free zone play is to immediately input compassion and understanding for the person that you might be resenting or the thing that you might be resenting. It's really important to understand that nobody's perfect, nothing is perfect, but what can be perfect is how we treat it, how our perception of it is. So the truth about resentment is not to get pissed off, bitter, toxic. How about this one? Spiteful. Dude, I mean, we all know what it's like to be spiteful. It's fucking horrible. So instead, like, you know what I'm talking about, Andres?
Yeah, no, I do. There's situations where, kind of like what we were talking about in last episode about patience, where my emotions just, I don't know why, they get the best of me right in the moment, and 5 minutes later I just realize I could have done this, I could have done that. Oh my god, I'm not angry. The situation has caused me to be angry in this moment, but I hate the way that we sometimes say I'm angry. It's kind of like it's the totality of yourself. It's kind of like, no,
Right.
You're not angry. This moment made you angry, but you're not angry.
Right now you're
It's,
motivated by anger.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're spewing out of control because like there's no stopping that negative energy. And like I said, we're, God bless us all. God bless them all, right? They who maybe taught us wrong, because a resentment is an invitation to be compassionate and understanding. And here's another fucking humdinger: taking your own responsibility. Like, what was my part in the situation that this person pulled to do something that makes me resentful? What is my part? What did I do in a situation with, some sort of company or entity that I think pulled a fast one or did something wrong and I'm resentful, right? Nobody's perfect, including yourself. And the idea when you're resentful is to be compassionate and understanding, take responsibility for your part, and then elevate yourself back into the free zone and glide. You still can be like, yo, that wasn't cool, right? Because something that's not cool is not cool. You hold people accountable and responsible, but you're not nailing them to the cross. You're just saying it's not cool, but I have compassion and understanding because I know what it's like to make a poor decision. Like all this is about being kind to yourself first and foremost. And when you're compassionate and understanding, you're keeping your resentments at bay, away from you, the toxicity, and you're maintaining life in the free zone. So it's kindness to yourself first, and then kindness to other people.
The ripple effect will do the rest.
The ripple effect will do the rest. We
Yeah.
want to maintain life in the free zone. Free zone represents personal freedom, happiness training to be happy and stay happy. You get me?
Yeah, no, and I'm very grateful that I get myself out of that loop where I get angry and then I don't know why I'm angry and I can't get out of it. But I can see how loving yourself gets you out. But the other direction is kind of what you were talking about them. People taught us in a way that it was wrong, but I'm sure that they were in a situation where they were angry, and instead of loving themselves, they just started hating themselves, and they get into, I'm a hothead. That's who I am. Like, that's just my
Just write it
persona.
off as a
And-
fact.
Yeah, and it's it's like it's a fact. And I'm like,
What?
how can
Why
you
would
teach
limit
somebody
yourself
else
like
something
that?
positive when you cannot get out of that loop yourself?
Exactly. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, I love the statement, forgive them for they know not what they do. Like, that goes back to like the Bible and like whatever you want to call it. It's all good. But like, dude, like everybody basically is taking a sucker punch in the learning
dome.
curve. Yeah. And it's really what we're doing here in the free
Like a
zone.
Rocky sucker punch.
Yeah, good one. Really what we're doing here in the podcast is we're archiving these ways to reverse it, right? Because I get it. I was there. I too was the walking wounded. I love that statement because I got everything wrong. I took everything wrong, and my life and quality of life sucked, and I suffered. But that's not the case now. So we want to archive this and get it in the can, record it, so whoever can use it whenever they want. The idea is to change mental direction.
Intercept. How many interceptions do you think you got on your stats?
I mean, dude, daily.
Hall of Famer at this point.
You know, but the truth of the matter is, when you practice, it becomes your go-to. So you don't have to
just second nature.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, think about it. Like, the way you sign your name, you don't even think about it. It's a signature. Boom, boom, boom. It's done. The reason why it's automatic is because you've practiced it all your life. You don't even have to think about it. Think about how you brush your teeth. You brush your teeth the exact same way every time, most likely, because you've been practicing it for so long. It becomes second nature and your go-to.
I might be a sporadic brusher.
Well, whatever. Most people's not. And here's another one. Check this one out. You dry off from taking a shower the exact same way every time.
Yeah, that's
Automatic.
100% true.
Yeah, and that's just the power of a pattern, right? So we want to break the patterns that we're stuck in, that are keeping us in the fear zone, keeping us from living with personal freedom in the free zone. Intercept it and practice it, because when we practice these things, like knowing that resentment is an opportunity and an invitation to be compassionate and understanding and take your responsibility, it's a beautiful thing. If you get good at that and that becomes second nature, like, you're smooth. It's unbelievable. When you think about anger is like nobody really even understands or explains anger. Anger is something that you're not accepting, right? So if you look at anger and take anger from the real perspective, the ancient truth, what it's really supposed to mean is to love yourself by accepting what's going on, not fighting. There's a term that I was taught: I cease fighting anyone or anything through acceptance. Accepting what's going on so I can, like, not have this ball of fire in me that I'm fighting all the time. I'm fighting for my life, not against it. So these truths that I think are important to communicate to you, to have other mental fitness plays to run through your mind, are that anger is really an opportunity to accept what's going on. Resentment is really an invitation just to be compassionate and understanding and take responsibility for your part. And loneliness is really just an invitation to love yourself more. Like, how amazing is that? If we can, I mean, it's almost going to make me fucking cry. If you can turn around, which, oh, by the way, you can. I'm living proof, and there's millions like me. You can turn around anger, resentment, and loneliness into your favor, for an invitation to be self-loving and self-respectful, to hold yourself in high regard and act accordingly by staying in the free zone, thinking mental fitness thoughts that elevate you into personal freedom. Dude, you're fucking golden. What do you guys think?
I think we'd be as golden as your voice on this podcast.
Nice,
dude.
dude.
And I almost forgot that I was sitting here supposed to be speaking.
Yeah, dude, I kind of like, I was like, I thought, you know, he was about to keep going, and then looks at it.
It's crazy. Watch out, I'm on a roll. Like, people say, dude, you got a voice for radio. I'm like, really?
I am.
Dude, I used to hate my voice as a kid. Like, I would, like, hear it and I would cringe. And it's like, the whole truth is like, first of all, who cares what your voice sounds like? Who cares? Like, we all have an individual voice, A. And B, you never know.
Right.
Like, what you think, other people think is really cool. Like, you know, I guess I do have a voice for radio, but it is what it is. And I don't want to get sidebarred. What I want to do is let you guys know that you matter, that you're equal to all, and to prove it, this mattering, this self-worth, this self-love, by taking resentment, anger, and loneliness and flipping it on its fucking head. Right? Redirecting it, intercepting it, redirecting it, and know that sadness or loneliness is an invitation to love yourself more. Resentment is an invitation to be compassionate and understanding and take responsibility for what your part is. And anger is an invitation to just accept what's going on and trust the process and know that everybody's, like, not perfect. Boom. We love you. And now for the bonus round. We're giving you extra innings. We're putting more time on the clock because we care. Yo, the extra innings is this. So here's the thing. Speaking of extra innings, athletics, mental fitness, free zone athlete. Everything's a mouthful. Get out there and take a walk. Get out there and take a light jog. Get out there and, maybe run. But do something in the middle of your day or at the end of your day by yourself or with someone that you care about or someone, that you're friends with or a lover, whatever, or specifically by yourself, and get some cardio in. Just get some cardio in. It doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes. Start with 10 minutes. Go to 15 minutes. But on a daily basis, if not every other day, get some cardio in. Grease yourself, right? Get sweaty. Break a sweat. And
Get the love flowing.
Get the love flowing and allow yourself the endorphins to break from day to night or one moment to another moment. Call it whatever you want. The homework assignment is get some cardio in and set a pattern of getting cardio in. Boom.
Free zone out.